For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble. Thank you so much for tuning in on your favorite podcast app or wherever you found me. I don't know, right? There's so many places now that you found me. That's the bottom line. That's the point. And good thing you did, because it's 30 minutes of time-wasting fun today. And this week, we're going hard-hitting on this one, okay? We're going to talk about the senses. Touch, taste, sight, like those senses. That's what I'm talking about. Because I don't know if it's an age thing. I find myself just thinking about weird, random things out of nowhere. And then I think that they are interesting or entertaining or whatever. And so then I reach out to people. So, I'll call somebody or I'll text somebody, and then we'll go on like 45 minutes just on, again, just something like, the taste of garlic or the smell of garlic or the taste of pickle juice or something. And then it just takes us in so many different directions. And so I'm going to do that by myself talking today, but hopefully it'll get you thinking about things and just kind of like, that's interesting, or it'll make sense as we go on. All right, so sit tight. It's going to start on The Scribble right after this.
Isn't it crazy that you wait for payday, but before you know it, you're strapped for cash again? It's time to stop blowing your money and become a smart spender with the book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com. Learn simple ways to cut costs at home every day and during special times of the year. Don't go broke at Christmas. Don't remortgage the house for a fancy vacation. The book is filled with tips to save you money throughout the year. Check out the best-selling book, The Official Guide to Being an American Cheapskate, at cheapskatebook.com or on Amazon and iTunes.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
JB here on The Scribble. All right, so the first sense that we're going to talk about, and now this is a 30-minute show, so if I go long, I might not be able to cover all of them. so I'm putting that disclaimer out there first. It's not that I forgot one or two of them; we just couldn't get to them today, so I would put that out there. Now, first one is going to be the sense of smell, because I've realized that there are things that I enjoy the smell of. And in some cases, that could also be the taste of something, right? So for instance, you might love the smell of coffee, but not like the taste of it, right? So that's where I'm going with this. So that is one of those things for me. And the funny thing is that, of course, my husband and I own a coffee company, and I've never had a sip of coffee in my life. But I do enjoy the smell of it. So when I've talked about our morning routine here on the show a bunch of times, so we sleep in quite late, and then I will go into the bath, and then he goes to, depending on which house we're in, here I go again, all right, me and my problems. We have a gym in our basement in Winnipeg, or they'll go to the gym. My husband and his friends will go to the gym in West Hollywood. So either I always will retreat to a bath, which I do. I have a bathtub in both houses, of course. So in the morning or whatever time we wake up, he'll of course make the coffee, right? So So that's something that if he gets up and depending on which house we're in, like where my bathtub is not near the kitchen where he's making the coffee, so I don't necessarily smell it from where I am. But then I come out of the bath. Now my bath is very tropical, so it's coconutty. Sometimes it'll be citrusy, but strawberry, coconut, that kind of Caribbean or tropical sort of a vibe. And that's just a really cool mix because there you got the coffee smell and then you've kind of got this fruity smell. So it does make you feel like you're in a tropical destination having morning coffee, right? Even though we're just in our fabulous mansion. So coffee is one of them that I love the smell of, but I don't like the taste of it. Well, like I said, I've never had a sip of it, so it's not appealing to me, I guess, is what I mean. But Buff Boy Brewing Coffee is the best in the world. Let me just put it that way. There's a couple other things. So orange, I've always really liked the smell of orange. Now that started, actually speaking of West Hollywood, the very first time that I ever went to Los Angeles, I think I was early 20s, I would say. So about 20 years ago now. And I went with my friend and we ended up in West Hollywood. People don't realize that some people think that West Hollywood is a neighborhood or it's a community in Los Angeles. They're two different cities. Though we can literally walk to Los Angeles from our house. It's like 10, 15 minutes away, and same thing with Beverly Hills. We hang a right and we walk straight and we're at Beverly Hills. Anyway, so there was a place called the French Market in West Hollywood. And it closed, I don't even know how long. I think it closed and then it reopened for a while. But anyway, it was a very interesting place because it was inside, but you felt like you were outside. And there were shops around the outside of it. So the dining area was kind of the middle, and it kind of had it sort of felt like outdoor tables. It's like you were in, like a Paris kind of a outdoor market, but there were shops all around the outside. And there was one that had candles in it. And the candle was called Illume, Illume, and it had kind of like a frosted sort of a glass jar. And it was Valencia orange. And for some reason, and again, I'd never put much thought into the fragrance or the scent of orange before until I smelled that candle. And I just became obsessed with it. I just loved it. And I started to realize I've never liked the texture of an orange before. So I guess, are we now veering into the taste sense as well? That's the thing, right? I mean, you got senses that they overlap depending on what it is. So I guess this falls into both categories. But anyway, I've never liked an orange just because of it, stringy and whatever, and just, But anyway, so the smell of orange, I love. And then I was, if you get one orange candle and then you go to another brand or you see it in a store and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to love every orange candle. I have not. And so I wasn't able to find this Valencia orange candle a few years later. Obviously companies discontinue products or, whatever, they change out their line. But I remember finding a store. So again, like I said, we're going back in time. Online ordering wasn't a huge thing. I mean, it kind of was 20 years ago, but not as big, obviously, as it is today. But anyway, so I was this, young guy still living at home with my parents. I had a shit ton of money and, not very many bills. So I had ordered, I think, I don't know if it was 10 or 12, but and these were expensive candles, especially shipping them from Canada. You've got the exchange rate or whatever it is and shipping. And I don't know that we paid duty on things at the time. Maybe we did. But I just liked them that much that I basically stockpiled them. And of course, it ruined it. It ruined me for other orange scents. So now when I go to, a place like Bath & Body Works or something, I mean, they're okay, but they're just not the same, right? But that's something that I don't like the taste of orange, but I love the smell of it. Ditto for coffee. I'm trying to think of something else that, just the sense of smell. Oh, I like the smell of when my dogs come in from outside. So, they have not necessarily a wet dog smell, but they just kind of have like that. You could sort of kind of smell their fur if it's been a crisp day outside. And so then they'll come in and I'll just kind of be like, oh, it's that smell of dog. Now, here's the thing. If you're not a dog lover or you don't have dogs, you might not like it. Chances are you probably don't like it. But for me, I don't know, it's just kind of like, parents are the same way about kids, right? What do they talk about? Like is it baby hair or baby head? Let me ask the parents across the room here. Bonnie, it's baby head. Apparently baby head smells. Hair too? What are you saying? They're one and the same. Baby hair and head is the same thing. Okay, thank you very much, Bonnie. Who's, by the way, a grandmother. So she's recently had, she has a granddaughter now, and then, well, I mean, her grandson's, I think he's 18 now. So, but they've recently had a new baby in the family. That's why Bonnie's chiming in now. So for me, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Same thing with, like just like a fresh baby smell, after, baby has bathed or whatever, and like baby powder or something. I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't know. But I'm the same way with my dogs then. Whatever. I like the smell of a freshly outdoor dog. Okay, I want to hear from the pet owner. I want to hear from the dog lovers on this one. Do you get what I'm saying? Do you know what I mean? Yes, I kind of like the smell of wet dog as well. But like when they come in, they just kind of have that, that I don't even know what it's like, the freshness on their fur. Email me, and then maybe I'll report back next week. I want to collect some responses. The email address live @jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I think people know what I mean. Yeah. Something else that I remember when I was growing up, my brothers, when we would be going on like a family trip somewhere, if we were going out to the lake or whatever we were doing, and my parents we would stop for gas. My brothers always liked the smell of gasoline. I never really understood that because I don't know. I just it has a distinct smell, yes, but I don't know like what you like about it. Like I'm not exactly sure. How do I explain it? Like a food smell, can make you hungry, could, kind of make you think about the tropics, whatever, right? But like gasoline, I don't know where that takes you. But whatever. And so let's just go back to the food thing for a second, though. Garlic, I think I mentioned that earlier. I love the smell of garlic, love the taste of garlic. We are a Ukrainian and Polish family, so, garlic is everything to us. And again, that's one of those things where if you're not into it, you really notice the smell and you probably don't like it. Years ago, I was working at Party City. So again, I'm now, early 20s again, I guess. And I was just obsessed with it. Now, this is when I discovered Caesar salad at that point in my life. I never really cared for salads back in the day, but I had a chicken Caesar salad somewhere, and then I decided to, because when you're 20, especially if you live at home with your parents, you're not really cooking much, you're not making food very often. But I ended up having it at a restaurant one time, and so then I went grocery shopping with my mom, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'll make Caesar salad. And so I decided to chop up garlic, and then there was a restaurant in Winnipeg called Gilroy. It was the garlic restaurant, Gilroy, California. If Google it. If you're in California, you probably know the thing about Gilroy and garlic. But anyway, there's a festival and whatever. But there was a restaurant called Gilroy, and every item on the menu, even the desserts, had garlic in it. And so I would go to that restaurant, I don't know how often. Now, it wasn't overbearing, it wasn't powerful, but it was just very garlicky. So we had a family get together for my grandparents' anniversary one time, and everything was garlic. And obviously, because everybody's eating it, you don't really notice it on people, right? You're not noticing their garlic breath because you have it too, and it's filling the air, filling the house, really. So I was putting garlic in everything. So I was making Caesar salad, I was chopping up fresh garlic, and that's of course raw garlic. So that's when it's most powerful and most potent, right? The smell of it is when it's raw like that. I would then also make pizza, so I would chop that up and put it on pizza. I would mashed potatoes was another big one too. I started to make really, really garlicky mashed potatoes. And so when I was working at Party City and I was the assistant manager, in the mornings I would open the store with the other assistant manager. It would just be the two of us. And you don't notice it. If you're having, I don't know, whatever. It's sort of like smokers, right? My parents were smokers when I was growing up, and they would always deny, I would say your clothing stinks, and, the house stinks. When you come in from outside, the room stinks now. And they would always deny it. And, no, because you just don't notice it when it's on you. And so I'm having all this garlic, and she ended up becoming a really good friend of mine. But the other assistant manager said, you just stink of garlic. And I thought, oh my God, because I don't know how. No, I don't discuss my eating habits with people. I wasn't talking about things like that. But she was obviously, she could just smell it on me, and she said like it's coming through your pores. That's how much garlic you had. But I loved it, so I was just kind of like, whatever. I'm not saying that I like the smell of it, but it was just, seafood is another one. Now, I worked at Red Lobster when I was 17, and I worked in the kitchen. I wasn't a cook, but I was in the middle. It was called the alley. And that was where we dressed the plates and we checked like the temperature of the lobster tails and made sure that the dressing or the cups of sauces and things were on the plate. That's what we did in the alley. Coincidentally, we also made Caesar salad in there. But when you're there for 5 hour, 6 hour shift, 7 hour shift, especially like every day, we had these shirts that were fish patterned. You think back to Red Lobster again, 20 some years ago. 25 years ago, I was 17, I guess, 16, 17. And no matter how much you wash those shirts, and then we had to wear like black dress pants, no matter how much you wear them or wash them, they still smell like that. And that was something, and even with your hands, even though you're wearing like plastic gloves when you're opening up bags of crab legs and things like that, it's on you. And again, I just didn't notice it because you're in that environment. And so it wasn't until I came home one day, and so at around this time, my brothers had got married and moved out. So my room initially was upstairs on the main floor, and then when they moved out, I got their bedroom downstairs. They shared a room. So obviously now I'm spreading my scent now around the house into the basement. And it wasn't until I moved downstairs that I came down one time and that my Red Lobster shirt was hanging on the back of my bedroom door, that I came in and I was just like, I smell it now. So here I was, just like the smokers who deny it or whatever. I would be like, no, I don't smell it. It wasn't until, I was kind of removed from it and now I'm in a new environment, but the same shirt is there. Now I smell it. And I mean, I love like halibut. I love, fish. I love it, but there's that smell, and it takes me back, not to a good memory. It takes me back, because we had fun working at Red Lobster. It takes me back to the bad memory of the smell of it, right? Because it's the smell, it's that smell that just, I have that connection to it. So again, here's the email address, live, L-I-V-E at jbonair.com, L-I-V-E at jbonair.com. We're gonna go to a break, and then I'll talk about Sight next.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
JB here on The Scribble. Hopefully going to get through all 5 senses on the show today. So we've gone through smell, and then I guess we we did taste already. Let's say we knocked out the 2 of those. Sight is the next one, and I've noticed something that I've been doing. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or if it's just I'm weird, but the old people will squint when they're having a hard time seeing something, right? You squint and then it becomes clear. I've done that quite a bit. I've noticed I've done something weird. Now, I've talked before how my husband and I, we don't have our phones upstairs in our bedroom when we're at nighttime. The phones are not beside us. I know that there's some people who literally sleep with their phone on their pillow, or it's on your nightstand, or it's your alarm clock. So here's the thing. We sleep perfectly. And maybe that's the trick. And I know people will fight and say, no, it's my alarm. You know what? Buy a fucking alarm clock. It's maybe $10, or even just, have a watch or something with an alarm on it. Seriously, we do not have nights where we toss and turn because we're not thinking, got to look at the phone. But there have been some nights when I will either take my computer, or I will take my laptop, or I will take up my phone to the bedroom, because for one of our companies, we order things from China. So with our time difference, I it's like, okay, I can just do some work in bed, fold up the laptop, put it on the table beside me, and then just crash, right? I don't need to be sitting in my office or something at 4 a.m. So I'll go upstairs, and we do have a TV in the room, but no actual like phone. So I've noticed that there's been a couple nights when I've done that where I will close one eye and work on my computer or my phone in the dark and just have one eye closed and one eye open. And it's not even about seeing, like it's, because I don't need to wear an eye patch or something. I don't know why I do it. I just prefer, maybe looking at it with two eyes is too bright for me. Maybe that's what it is. Now that I'm talking it through, I'm kind of trying to reason it. But I've done that because the brightness is just, it's a 1.5 feet from your face. If you've got your laptop, maybe 2 feet is probably too far for a laptop if you're working. But so maybe that's what it is. Like it's two eyes is too bright, so I just have one eye and then I do it that way. But it's always I close my left eye and I use my right eye. So I don't know why I favor the one. But that's something that I do with my eyes. So again, I want to know, is that weird? Do you close one eye? And I'm thinking it's a brightness thing. Again, the email address, live, live, @jbonner.com. Same thing, though, actually, with the brightness setting on my phone. I have it all the way down. Initially, it was to save the battery because I used to hear that, if you have the screen bright, that's, eating up the power and your battery can last longer. But I have the brightness all the way down all the time. So if I'm showing somebody something on my phone, they'll be like, can you brighten your phone a little bit? As though I've done something, or it's like it's a bad phone. I don't know. I don't need the brightness. Maybe that's why I've got great eyes otherwise. I mean, I'm fine at, seeing things. So there you go. Are we going to move on to touch now? How much time do I have? Somebody tell me. Yeah, we'll move on to touch. Okay. Are there things that you just like? See, this is now our dirty listeners are going to take this somewhere. My initial sentence was going to be, are there things that you just like feeling? Should we take a break? Should I just leave it at that? There we go. That's the end of the segment, everybody. I have nothing else to say. No, I like the feel of fuzzy blankets. So when you go into a hotel and it's the very like plush white kind of whatever, I don't like those kinds of blankets. I find them to be too cold. I don't know. I like a velour, like a faux fur kind of a blanket, and that just makes me feel, cuddly and whatever. So are there things that you feel that put you at ease? I don't know how to ask it. When I was growing up as a kid, I always liked having those big, I don't know what you call them, not character slippers, but like the slippers that were like dogs or like puppy, slippers. They were the big, like, it was like you were wearing plush animals on your feet, that kind of a thing. So I always liked the big, plush, sort of things. And so then when I was old enough to get my own blankets, my own bedding, I really liked those, velour kind of blankets because it's a warm sort of a feeling. I feel like I'm going to lose people. Should we just move on from this one already? Yeah. All right, let's move on to take a break, and we will come back, and I'll talk about hearing. Next on The Scribble.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
JB here on The Scribble. I have very good ears, and, having been in radio for over 20 years, I think I hear things that a lot of people don't, because, I've had to listen so closely to things, and one of the things that really annoys the piss out of me is jump cut edits on YouTube videos, and even, I guess, in podcasts as well. A jump cut edit is where, do you remember that Simpsons episode, Homer, I can't remember exactly what it was, Her Sweet Can. Do you remember that? Where he was doing some like TV interview or something, and then they edited it, and you can see the clock time in the background is jumping, so that's how badly it was edited. And it's Her Sweet Can. Her. So it's very robotic. The flow isn't there. They do it a lot on the Kardashians or on The Bachelor. They piece together sentences because those fucking idiots don't know how to speak properly, or they're manufacturing a storyline, so they're putting words literally in the person's mouth. So jump cut edits are annoying to me because you'll hear, let me try to do an example of it if you don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, so let me go. So here's a sentence that I like. It's when you do it kind of like, it's sort of jumping, and it's different because the tone of your voice is not always the same. That maybe wasn't a very good example, but you know what I mean? Like, it's choppy. You'll see it in videos more because the person, it jumps, like the picture jumps. They've moved. And I always say, if you have to do that, you're not a very good public speaker. I shudder to think how long it takes you to make that video. It's a 3-minute video. You've got a jump cut after every second sentence. Learn to fucking speak, and you could probably pump out 10 more videos in the time that it takes you to edit down that one. And so that's where that just drives me insane when I hear those, you know, like the jump or the breath, and it just, again, that's what I'm saying. It's a radio thing maybe that just drives me insane. Now let's talk about actual sounds though. I absolutely hate little kids. Everything about little kids. Babies crying, kids screaming, kids squealing. I'm that uncle who's at the family get together. Let's say it's Christmas at my parents' house. The kids they're excited, they're screaming, they're squealing, and I'll just look at them and go, why are you shouting? Why are you screaming? And it does take them aback. It does actually kind of make them like, yeah, I guess I was screaming. 5 seconds later, they're doing it again. So you know it didn't make a fucking difference when you said it. But there's a commercial that comes on TV. I think it's probably like a diaper or it gets some baby product. And there's a baby crying in the middle of the night. Maybe it's a diaper commercial, whatever. And I have to mute it right away. I just cannot handle it. Or even on a TV show where there's a baby, scene and the baby just starts crying. I can't. I have to either fast forward it. I have to mute it. I cannot deal with it. A baby crying? No. Nope. The other one is just kids being loud. The squeal of laughter. That's something that I just don't get. Why do you have to squeal because you're excited? It's the same thing. Now, this is going to sound sexist. It's the same thing with women. Think about it when you've seen a scene on TV, or if you've gone to women going to a strip club and the men come out just screaming. I'm thinking, first of all, as a gay guy, like a male stripper, I'm kind of like, whatever. Gay guys are not squealing and screaming. They're kind of like, yeah, it's another naked body, whatever. But women, for some reason, I don't know. I don't get it. And it's not because think about a men in a strip club. You do not have the men, oh yeah. No, it's silence at a men's strip club. I have gone, by the way, to the female dancers. That's a story for another day, but because that was funny. But anyway, I absolutely cannot stand any kind of kid noise. Kids screaming, squealing, crying, whatever. Can't. We were on, for years I've done a charity trip, and with Air Canada, it's called Dreams Take Flight. We're out of time. I just start telling the story and we're out of time. Let me finish this. We'll run a little bit over, okay? So it's 100 and some kids going to Disney for the day. We fly from Winnipeg, we go to Disney in California, and then we fly back at night. This year, or I guess last year, it was in September, but this last time that we did it, I'm sitting in the row of kids, and of course they're screaming and squealing. They're very excited. That's always the case. And that whole 6-7 thing that was happening? So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, just these girls out of nowhere start going 6, 7, 6, and just repeating it over and over again. So the two boys beside me are getting just as fed up as I am, and they start saying, I'm not kidding you, shut up, and they're basically like screaming. Because you have one group of kids starts to do it, then they're all doing it. And of course, all of us adults at the time are looking around going like, what the fuck is this? Like, what? And I didn't even want to ask because I was just going to be like, oh, I'm going to be exposed as being uncool. But it was so fucking annoying. And obviously the other kids were getting sick of hearing it. But apparently it had been going around for months at that point. Like I said, when did we do the trip? It was September? No, it was October. It was the beginning of October that we did the trip. So that's how isolated I am from kids and from the whole thing. I had never even heard of this before. It wasn't until I saw something on the news a few weeks later that I was just like, that's what those kids were doing. And then when I find out what it is it's really just nothing. I thought, yeah, sounds about right. That's about right. But that day, because they started to do it on the plane on the way home as well. Yeah, part of me, it took me everything to not just be like the kids and say, shut the fuck up. I could. 6, 7. Because again, it's that shrill little kid, the little girl voice, little boy voice, and then they're laughing, which is even more of a squeal. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm not going to be invited to go on the trip again, I'm sure, after they hear this. But no, I can't. So there's just certain things that they hear. I'm just kind of, I can't deal with it. We're out of time. I know one of the other things I really want to quickly talk about, because again, it's just a weird thing, and I think it's a me thing. I don't like hearing a TV from another room. I know that's a weird thing, right? So, okay, I'll tell you what I mean. My husband's watching TV in the living room, and I might be in... what's a room that's close by? So I would be maybe there's a spare bedroom, in the bathroom. Let's say I'm in the bathroom, doing whatever, brushing my teeth or something or whatever. I don't like hearing the TV from the living room while I'm in that room. And I know, unless, I close the door or something, but I don't know. It's just, I don't like hearing the noises from another room while I'm in this room. So I don't like hearing if there's music playing. I just don't like hearing the TV from another room. I don't know why. I just don't like it. It's something that just it annoys me. How has he lived with me all this time? Anyway, send me an email. Tell me your thoughts. Did we cover all of them? The touch thing. We'll go past that. So we do all of them, right? Sight, the eyes thing in bed. Smell, taste, touch, and hearing. Okay. We went a couple minutes over, but oh well, thanks for tuning in anyway. My name is Jeremy Bradley. This is The Scribble. I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real